Hey everybody, it's Sis Smith. So today we are going to review for that massive quiz that you have later this week. So I actually did make it today, and it is worth 48 points, and there is an option for 2 points of bonus. Now I do want to talk to you about how the quiz is set up. So I did set this up in your favor. There's actually four sections on the quiz itself. The first section is ionic naming. And so the section will say ionic naming, and so that's all, you're just use the ionic naming rules for that whole section. And the second section is covalent, so all of those will use the covalent rules. The third section is acids, all of those are acid rules. The last section is the bonus, and they're kind of mixed up. So what I am going to do are the notes that I'm about to go over. They're actually in your assignment today. They are attached. If you are in person, if you are at on this campus, I will bring you a copy of these before the day is out. That's what I want you to use on your quiz tomorrow, because it lists everything. I'm even going to go over some examples, and I'm going to print these after I have written the examples in. So that's what I want you to use, and it's broken down in the three sections: ionic, covalent, and acid. So there's 3 different pages. Also, if you do not have a periodic table, hopefully by now you have one. If you don't have a periodic table by now, let me see, where's mine at? If you don't have this by now, if you don't have this, you need to get it. Okay, if you don't have it, find one, Google it, email me, something. If you don't have one, you need to get one, okay? So I'm also, for those of you that don't have this, I will attach it also to this assignment for today. It should be at the bottom, where you found this video, it'll be down at the bottom. Tomorrow, I'm not going to attach any of that stuff to your quiz, okay? Tomorrow in the assignment, Thursday will be just your quiz. None of that will be in there. So you need to have this ready to go on Thursday. Don't wait until the last second to print this, okay? And you do need to print it, because the quiz is going to be locked down. You will not be allowed to get anywhere else during the quiz. If you don't have a printer, let me know. I'll print one of these for you. I'll get it to you somehow, okay? But you've got to let me know. All right, so let's go into our notes for today, actually the review for today. All right, so let me put my headphones in real quick. So I actually wrote all these notes ahead of time just because, to save time on this video, because sometimes I know you see a video that's 30 minutes long and you don't want to watch it. And I get it, but sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do, okay? You've got to do things you don't want to in order to get a good grade. But I, try to save a little bit of time today without writing all these notes. So here are all the notes for ionic compounds. Okay, so how do you know something is an ionic compound? On this quiz that I'm giving you on Thursday, simply I'm just going to say these are all ionic compounds. Use the ionic compound naming rules. Okay, so it's going to be simple, but when we have the unit exam several weeks from now, I'm not going to tell you what they are. You have to identify them. So let's talk about how to identify ionic and covalent right here. So all 3 of these, all 3 pages has a way to identify it at the top. Okay, it's written in red. Now, so ionic compounds are metals and nonmetals together. It's under normal circumstances, 99% of the time, it's just going to be 2 terms. It'll be the first term, it'll be a positive ion. You'll have your second term as a negative ion. You put them together and you get your ionic compound. Now, in order to name ionic compounds, the first thing you need to do is find the name of the first term on the periodic table. Okay, do not try to make something up. Find it on the periodic table, okay? This is the reason why I taught you the elements and symbols at the beginning of the semester, is because you've got to know this periodic table. Okay, you've got to know where things are in order to be able to do this quickly. The second step, you need to make sure that you check that to see if you need Roman numerals. Now, how do you know whether you need Roman numerals or not? It should be highlighted. If you never did that, if you never highlighted them, you need to do that. What you do is you look at the ones that are split in half. For example, number 27, cobalt is split in half. It's got a little dotted line in between. That is one of them. Highlight that. Okay, if it's highlighted, you need to use Roman numerals. Okay, so step 2, find the name of the second term on the periodic table or from the polyatomic list. That list is on the back side of your periodic table. That list is what's going to help you. Do not make something up, okay? Find it on the periodic table. You will never have something that says sulfur, oxygen, hydrogen. No, okay? You'll never have something like that. It's going to be like, well, I should have said sodium, oxygen, hydrogen. It's never going to be sodium, oxygen, hydrogen. It will be sodium hydroxide, okay? Don't make it up. Find it. All right, so, and then the third step is to just write it all down. So let's follow these. I've got 2 examples here. Let's follow the steps. So step 1 was to find the name of the first term. Okay, well, that's iron. That's iron. And now iron is highlighted. We need to figure out which iron we're going to use. We've got a +2 and a +3. So what we do is we look at the formula. Now remember when we put this formula together, we crossed and went down. So that means this 3 should actually be up here. So that's going to be iron 3. And then now all we have to do is figure out, I'm erasing way too many things. All we have to do now is figure out what SO4 is called, okay? It is not iron 3 sulfur tetraoxide. Absolutely not, no. Okay, SO4 is on that list on the back side of your periodic table. Those are 2 capital letters. That means 2 different elements. All right, so that's polyatomic, which means it's on the back side of your list, or back side of your periodic table. So SO4 is called sulfate. And that's it. That's all you have to do. All right, the next one, MgSO4. Okay, so you look at Mg. Mg is not highlighted. Mg is called magnesium. That is on the front side of your periodic table. Most of the time, your first term is on the front side of your periodic table. Okay, so Mg is not highlighted. I don't have to worry about Roman numerals. SO4, again, is also sulfate. Okay, don't make this hard. It's there on the periodic table. You have to find it. All right, now, let's do this the opposite way. Given the name, have to write the formula. This is a little bit more difficult. So the first step is to find the symbol and the charge of the first term and then write that down. The second one, find the symbol and the charge of the second term and write that down. Step 3, take charges, cross and go down. Equal but opposite charges, cancel, and then the plus and minus symbols disappear. All right, so let's walk through this real quick. Okay, so calcium. I'm going to go to my periodic table. Calcium has a charge of Ca +2. Got to have that charge. That charge is extremely important. Do not forget that charge. Okay, now hydroxide. There's not an element on the periodic table called hydroxide, so I bet you it's on that list on the back. So I go to the list on the back and I find out that hydroxide is OH minus. So now all you do is you cross and go down. Okay, so I'm going to take this and put this down here, and I'm going to take this and put this down here. Now, I'm going to do this incorrect. I'm going to do it incorrect. A lot of you want to do this. This is incorrect, okay? This is polyatomic, okay? Your rules are if you have polyatomic and you have a charge greater than 1 going on a polyatomic, you have to have parentheses, okay? So if you have polyatomic and the charge going on this polyatomic is greater than 1, you need parentheses. So the answer for this one is actually Ca parentheses OH2. All right, the next one, strontium. Strontium, go to the front side of the periodic table. Strontium is Sr +2. Phosphide. There is one on the front side of the periodic table called phosphide that is P -3. All I do now is cross and go down. Neither one of these are polyatomic, so that means I don't have to have parentheses at all. So it's Sr3P2. All right, so that's it for ionic naming. I'm going to do some more examples here in just a minute when I get done with this. Now, covalent compounds. Everything that we've done up until this point has been a nonmetal and a metal. Okay, now this is what happens when you have 2 or more nonmetals. That's when you have a covalent compound. Now your rules for covalent compounds, this is when your prefixes come in. If you do not have this list of prefixes written down somewhere on your periodic table, do that now. Pause the video, write it on your periodic table somewhere. All right, now to name covalent compounds. Very simple, okay? First step, find the name of the first term, apply prefix if needed. It keeps its real name. Now remember, on your periodic table of ions, the negative ones, the nonmetals, have already been renamed to their IDE ending. You need the real name. Okay, so for example, nitride, the real name is nitrogen. Or oxide, the real name is oxygen. Okay, you got to use the real name on that first term. Got to use this real name on the first term. On the second term, it gets that IDE ending that's already on your periodic table. So the second step, find the name of the second term, apply prefix if needed. So let's try this out. Okay, so I've got S. S is sulfur. It does not have a number after it, so that means there's just one. Remember, I only use mono with oxygen. Okay, so that's going to be just sulfur. And then the other one is F, which is fluorine, but remember it needs to get an IDE ending, so it's fluoride. It also has a number after it, so it's going to be hexafluoride. Okay, now remember, the number, when you write the number goes after it, but when it's written in the name, the actual prefix, remember it's a prefix, it goes before the name. Okay, N2O, so this is nitrogen, because on your periodic table it says nitride, but this is nitrogen because the first term keeps its real name. So this is dinitrogen for 2, dinitrogen. And that's oxygen. There's only one of them, so you get mono. So monoxide, monoxide. That does get the IDE ending still. Okay, the other way, if you're given the name, write the formula. Okay, so number 1, find the symbol of the first term, write it down. Apply prefix if needed. Okay, now remember, covalent compounds have nothing to do with charges. No charges anywhere, all right? So dinitrogen, we're going to say N2, okay, because remember the 2 goes after. The 2 goes after. It's a prefix here, but the 2 goes after, so N2. And then dioxide, so oxide is O, and the 2 after. Okay, carbon decoxide. Okay, so carbon doesn't have a prefix, so it's just one carbon. And then decoxide is going to be O10, and that's it. All right, the last type, acids. Okay, how do you know something's an acid? You have an H in the front. That's how you know something is an acid. Okay, H in the front, acid. Okay, the other way to know it, if you're given the name, it will say acid on the end. Okay, self-explanatory. All right, so to name an acid, you need to take the H off. Put the charge back on the second term. Your charge, because remember, on acids, you're still going to cross and go down. So whatever charge, whatever subscript is here, needs to go back up top. So whatever subscript is here needs to go back at the top. Okay, subscript here needs to go back at the top. So you take the H off, put the charge back on the second term. Number 2, name the ion that you created on the second term. Number 3, choose which rule the ion falls under. Use the ending of the ion. Number 4, rename the acid according to the acid rules. Okay, so let's do this thing. So take the H off. That then becomes Cl minus, because remember I got to take this and put that back up top. Cl minus is called chloride ion. Cl minus is on the front side of the periodic table. That is a single element, so it's on the front side of the periodic table. That is chloride ion. That is going to be rule number 1. Because I have IDE here. I've got IDE here and IDE here. So that's the first rule. So I'm going to take the base, the root word, and put it into that formula there. So this is hydrochloric acid. Okay. Now, just a side note, these 3 rules are the main rules that you need for acids, okay? If you have not written these down on your periodic table, do it now. Okay, next one. Take the H off. Put the charge back at the top. That becomes -2. SO4 minus 2 is called sulfate ion. Well, sulfate has an ATE ending. Okay, ATE ending is rule 3. So I'm going to rename it. Sulfuric acid. All right, now let's say that you're given the name and you have to write the formula. Okay, so step one, find which rule was used. Okay, so you look at what the name has got and you figure out what rule you use, 1, 2, or 3. Rename it to an ion. Number 3, write the symbol in charge of the ion. Number 4, put a H on the front, cross and go down. Okay, so hydrocyanic acid. Well, that's got hydro in front with the ic acid. That is rule number 1. So that means that this was cyanide ion. Well, cyanide ion is Cn minus. It's on the back side of my periodic table. I'm going to add my H in the front. Cross and go down, you get HCN. Nitrous acid. I've got this OUS. There's only one rule that does that. That's rule 2. Nitrous acid, that means it was nitrite ion, which is NO2 minus. Put your H on the front. You get HNO2. And that's it. Okay, here's a couple of examples. So I've got 6 here where the name's given and you write the formula. So if you would like to pause this video and try these out, now's a good time to pause. Okay, so when you're giving this mixed naming, you need to identify ionic, covalent, or an acid. So let's go ahead and identify. Potassium, that's a metal. There's only one type that we got that uses a metal, that's ionic. Lead, that's also a metal. There's only one type that uses metals, and that's ionic. Triarsenic pentasulfide, that has prefixes. There's only one type that uses prefixes. That's covalent. Carbon tetrachloride, that also uses prefixes. There's only one type that uses prefixes, and that's covalent. And then these two are acids, of course, because they have acid written at the end. So now that we know which ones are which, we now can use the proper rules. So for ionic, potassium fluoride, all I have to do, potassium is K+. That's on the front of the periodic table. Fluoride is F-. Now what I do is cross and go down, and the answer is KF. Okay, that's all that I do. These technically canceled each other out because these are equal but opposite, so it's just KF. The next one, lead 4. Well, that tells you which lead you're using, lead plus 4. And then phosphate is on the back side of your periodic table, and phosphate is PO4 minus 2, I think, minus 3. Okay, so all you do now is you cross and go down. So you get PB3 parentheses PO4 4. Okay, remember that you needed parentheses because this was polyatomic and the charge going on it was greater than 1. That's why I need parentheses. All right, the next one, triarsenic. So that's going to be arsenic is AS with a 3 after it. Sulfide is S. Penta is 5. That's it for triarsenic pentasulfide. Carbon tetrachloride, carbon with no prefix is just regular carbon, no numbers, and then chloride is Cl and tetra is 4. All right, hydroiodic acid. Looking at this, we got to identify what rule we're using. Hydroiodic is rule number 1. So that means iodide. That is just I minus. Put your H up front, you get HI. Phosphorus acid, that's rule 3. So this was called phosphite. Phosphite is PO3, 2 minus 3. Excuse me, 3 minus. Add that H up front, cross and go down like you always do. H3PO3. All right, now, I got 6 more. If you want to try these out, pause the video, try them out. Okay, so let's identify. First thing is figure out ionic, covalent, or acids. Okay, so let's start with this. This is a metal. It's on the left side of the periodic table. That is ionic. This is a metal, ionic. Neither one of these are metals, so that's covalent. Neither one of these are metals, so that's covalent. This one has an H in the front. Red flag, that's an acid. Same thing with this one. Those are acids. All right, now, Na is sodium. It is not highlighted, so I do not need a Roman numeral, OH. The answer to this is not sodium, oxygen, hydrogen. No, the answer is sodium hydroxide. These are 2 capital letters, If I've got two capital letters back to back, that means two different elements, which means it's polyatomic, which means it's on the backside of your periodic table. Do not make it harder than it really is. Sodium hydroxide. Okay, next. Lead. Okay, but lead's highlighted, so we got to figure out, is it lead? What are our options? Lead 2 or lead 4? Well, I've got a 2 down here, and when we put this together, and we had to cross and go down, so I bet this is lead 2. SO4, we know that's sulfate from before. We use that one a lot, lead 2 sulfate. The next one, okay, these are covalent, so that means I'm using prefixes. So trisulfur, remember the first name keeps its real name. And then 7, oh crap, what's 7? Hepta, I think, hepta something. 7, oh, hepta, okay. Hepta oxide. Okay, anyway, the next one, carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon, there's no number here. You'd only use mono with oxygen. So that's just carbon dioxide. Okay, the last one. Okay, take the H off. Put this back up here. So C2O42 minus. I actually don't know what this is. C2O42 minus. Oh, this is called oxalate ion. Okay, this is an ATE ending. That's rule 3. So rule 3 is ic acid. So oxalic acid. Well, that was fun. Oxalic acid. Okay, the next one. Take the H off. Put this 2 back up there. So CrO42 minus. That is called dichromate. Okay, this is ATE, so it's ic acid, so dichromic acid. All right, everybody, that's it for today as far as the instructions go. Today, your job is to work out those practice problems. Okay, I've already done about 6 or 7 of these. The paper that I attached into your assignment today is where I got these problems from, so I've already done quite a few of them. So, but you need to figure these out, okay? Tomorrow on the Zoom call, I will finish these that I did not go over. So you will get the answers tomorrow, but make sure you are doing this. You have got to make sure that you understand how to do this. And if you don't understand it, if you start getting in here and you start doing all these problems and you're not getting them correct, then you need to stop and ask me a question, okay? I can't be there to help you and baby you and hold your hand and make it through this. You have got to take ownership of your learning and make sure that you do this, okay? This is going to affect your grade a lot, okay? So if you need help, you need to let me know. You know where to find me.